Hey guys, Jameson here, welcome back to the Nordic Sound channel. Got another album review for you guys today, this time of the dark folk nature. We've been in the trad folk world for a while, and that is the latest release from the Norwegian project Nordein with their EP Reisa. Now, Nordein is the brainchild of, this is really going to test my Norwegian pronunciation, so Norwegians laugh if you must, Jørn Øyhus, who has been associated with many acts, but most notably for me, Byrdi, a band that I have gushed about on this channel many times before, not only with their incredible album Aventura, but also the singles and EPs that they've been putting out over the last year. And just to put it bluntly, Jørn has yet to put out music that hasn't just immediately captured my imagination, so I'm going into this EP really expecting just more of what I love from the guy. Now, of the EP Reisa, Nordein tells us in the press release that Nordein have for the past years been the main focus of Jørn Øyhus, with its 3 full-length albums plus a handful of singles. Reisa is the new EP, hinting both backwards and forward in time musically, hailing back to the debut Nordariket, as well as pointing to new soundscapes. Spring is a journey on its own, beginning with melancholic Irish bouzouki in the forest accompanied by an owl, own nighttime recording from Jørn Øyhus. The track evolves beautifully from an introspective dark folk mood into a triumphant blooming ritual of spring. With sounds of flutes, choirs, viking drums, and strings, listening to the track is like going from a misty and gloomy early dawn through full-blown sunny midday and into the night. Spring is the celebration of nature coming back to life after the harsh northern winter and encapsulates the very essence of growing, blooming, and thriving, though with thoughtful undertones along the way. So yeah, quite a poetic little introduction there. Let's talk about how the music delivers on that description. So staying true to its creative vision from the outset, the EP begins with spring and ambient tracks of a very nice, relaxing forest soundscape before the bouzouki comes in. And man, I love hearing the bouzouki. I want to hear more of it in dark folk, honestly. And the flute chimes in every now and again to create this really nice, relaxing, immersive soundscape before the major refrain kicks in. And I know this band I'm about to reference is polarizing, but does anyone else hear a lot of equilibrium in this? I only mean it as a good thing, as someone who loves folk metal, right? But I hear a lot of equilibrium, and I can't actually place the track. I even went through and listened to, I think the album I'm thinking of is Erden Temple, but this reminds me of equilibrium in only a good way to me. But I do feel like this major section goes on maybe one repeat too long, but in the end, it's a great track, solid, really delivers on the creative vision of Reisa, and also gives us some more major, which if you guys have been around the channel long enough, you know that I'm always asking for more major in dark folk, as sort of contradictory as it may seem. I think contrast is good. Then after spring, we go into the second track, Kampen evig. Really loving the interplay between major and minor relationships so far in this EP 2 tracks in. There's not enough of that in dark folk, as I just said, so it's very much appreciated. Now the vocals really come in and shine the brightest in this track of all 3 of them. They're very Ren Fair tavern music style, which is right up my alley, and the harmonies are really well written and well performed. They sound organic without being over the top. Sometimes when dark folk artists are given the freedom or creative liberty to write some sort of harmony to evoke like a choir or just, group singing, it can be really overdone, but it seems pretty organic and fits in with the overall sound of the EP here. So very well done here on the vocal harmonies. And then just as I'm getting into it, we are already at the last track of the EP, Reisa, right? So while the first tracks reminds me 100% of 2000s era dark folk, or at the time people just called it Celtic folk, Reisa easily is the most contemporary sounding in the dark folk vein, but not in like a Varde or Heilung sense. If anything, I just hear a lot of Folket Bortofor Nordevinden and Kjellbraten. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I feel like that style of dark folk is not explored nearly enough. And you guys don't need me to tell you, especially if you've been watching this channel for long enough. I absolutely adore the Bratens. I love all of the projects that those guys are involved in, and Folket Bortofor Nordevinden is just one of my favorite groups, right? So it's nice to hear someone else who's also diving into that kind of dark folk sound. So if you are looking for, or if you're coming from that side of dark folk and you want to give this EP a listen, I would start with Reisa if you've only got a limited amount of time to listen. But that leads me into my final thoughts, and that is that this EP is really too much of a tease, right? It's a delightful teaser into the creative vision behind Nordein, and I'm really looking forward to watching it bloom from here to keep up with the spring metaphor, because Jørn has a history of putting out just really awesome, solid, inspired dark folk and neo folk, and I know Nordein already has 3 albums, but I don't know, it seems like this is kind of a turn for them looking forward, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where Nordein goes next with this. So guys, that's really all I have to say about this EP. I just really wanted to talk about it for a little bit because I am a huge fan of the work that Jørn does, and just wanted to sort of promote it and get it in front of as many people as possible. So, short EP, short review. Would really love to hear what you guys think of this EP. Let me know if there were any of the 3 tracks that stood out to you. How did you like the shifts into major? Did you hear Equilibrium in spring? What did you think of the Renfair-like vocals in Campana Evig? But yeah, anyway, would love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you later for the next album review.